What's up, everyone? Evan from the Worst Generation here. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys something special. It's going to be my own Red Purple Law, no Nami needed list. So let's get right into it. Bringing you guys a law list for the new starter decks. Trafalgar Law, Red Purple Leader right here. This is actually a really cool card. Being able to -3 Dawn to bottom deck an opponent's 3 cost or less, and then also playing a 4 cost has a lot of utility, being as a card that's able to spam and also get a lot of control in. It's really flexible card, and it has a lot of potential actually in this like little 4.5 format that we have, where even though it's red, I think it's still able to compete without playing Namis and all that stuff as well. So this is what I am currently rocking as of now. So first up, we have 4 of the new Trafalgar Law. Blocker, -1 Dawn on play. If your opponent has 7 or more cards, they discard 2 cards randomly. So you choose, but basically at random. So just being able to rip 2 cards, a lot of the time on curve, if you're going, you're able to play that going second and get that on if they don't block your first 5k attack, or maybe they did something to get a little bit more advantage. It's an extremely strong card. Makes your opponent have to play at 6 the entire game to constantly be playing around this card. I know, like, when you're playing against black, you always want to be thinking about the Isho when they are at that 8 Dawn curve, but against this, because it's at 4, it's super easy to get to, and it's super scary, and it's something that you always have to be careful about. And then also because this is a 4 cost, it's playable by the Law Leader. So next up we have Beppo. This is an extremely good card. This is one of the things that you want to be playing off of your Law Leader the most, being able to on play and on attack gain a Rested Dawn if your opponent has more Dawn than you. In this deck, your opponent is almost always going to have more Dawn than you. So this is always frequent, it's always coming up, it's always super strong. When you minus the 3 Dawn for Law Leader, because it's on play instantly, it's at like you only -2 for it really, and you're still getting the body out. That next turn will catch you up as well because it will be on attack skill. 4/5 statted body counter. It's nothing to complain about. Super awesome card. So next up is going to be Eustace Kid. Basically, this is the high end of the deck. 7/8 on play and 1 attacking. So it's you -1 Dawn and you give your leader 1k power for the turn. It is kind of like a Whitebeard, basically. It's not as good in the fact that you don't get 2k power, but because you get it for the on play, so you get it right away, and then also it's on attack, so every single turn you're just making your leader 6k, and that is super powerful. If you're able to get 2 of them on board, you can stack them up as well. It is an extremely powerful card with defensive and offensive capabilities, and that is why I'm playing it at 4. This is the top end though for the deck, because most of the deck you want to be playing really low end so that you can get it with Law out. Next up, we are playing a film package. So it's going to be 4 Utas. Uta is super good. It's 4 costs, so you're able to play it with Law, being able to rest cards, blocker. It all around just an amazingly statted card that does an amazing effect that's also able to be played off of Law. Next up is kind of a weird card, actually. It's going to be 4 of the Film Trafalgar Law from the Film Uta promo pack. This card is Otama on legs, basically. It's a 4/5 on play, -2 power to something. So this card doesn't really see a lot of play right now. However, I really like it in this deck because A, you can play it off of free for Law. B, because Law's effect is -3 Dawn, you want to be using that Dawn beforehand, so you can go on play this -2 to a character, then using the rested Dawn that you used to play this card, you can use the effect and then be because it's bottom deck a 3 power or less, you can put things in range. So now you're making it bottom deck a 5 power card basically. Super strong, super super good card, just all around. Otama sees a lot of play for a reason. This card just being Otama that can attack, super powerful. I like it a lot. Next up, another card that you probably don't see play a lot is Uda. So this is 4 of the promo Uda. It's on play, get arrested Dawn. That's it. It is kind of weird in this deck, but I've been trying it out a lot. It has a lot of potential. It's filmed, so it's going to be searchable by Buena Vista. It's 5/6. Most of the cards in the deck are 5s, so it isn't really well statted. Or the rest of the deck isn't really well statted, so just getting like a decent body on board is really nice. And then ramping the Dawn, and then it's searchable. Next up, 3 Gordon. So another film card that's searchable. I really like this card because it is something that you can just play ahead of time to -3k to something, so you can either use that to start swinging the things, or yet again you can use it for Law's ability. So now you're bottom decking things with 6k power or less, which comes up a lot. Being able to utilize your leader not only as something as a spam tool, but also as a removal for annoying cards is super, super good. I like this card at 3. Some people might play it at 4. Playing it at 3, it comes up, it's searchable, but you're not bricking too many on it because you don't want to like have your hand rotted with this card too much because it doesn't have counter. So I always try to avoid playing 4 of something like that because it's not going to be able to swing, and you'll see it enough at 3. It'll come up enough at 3, basically, is the way I like to see that. Alright. So, next is Buena Vista at 4 copies. On play, check top 5 for film, so it unlocks your film engine. It has a 2k power itself. Really strong card. One of the best searchers in the game, honestly, in my opinion. Honestly, I would not be surprised if in the future this is the next searcher that gets banned, to be honest. Alright, next for the rest of the 2Ks. So, 4 Shiki, 4 Beppo, and 4 Sachi Penguin. So, this is where I'm probably going to be losing some of you guys, because you guys are looking at this and being like, oh my god, you're playing 16 2Ks? So, the way I see it is that, A, these cards are your 2Ks, realistically. So, these are your 2Ks, and then the Buena Vista and the Sachi Penguin, these cards get played a lot, because A, Buena Vista is your searcher, so I basically have put this card aside as the searcher in the deck. I never want to feel like, oh, this is a 2K, and I don't want to play this because I need to have all my 2Ks. The other 2Ks of Shiki, and Beppo, they are searchable. They're film. So being able to have 2 of your 2K searchable by your searcher, and then the Sachi Penguin isn't searchable, but also it is a very strong card, so you want to be playing it. Beppo itself is Nico Robin effect, so on attack, KO one of your opponents with 3k power or less. You have all the minus reduction, so sometimes this comes up, sometimes it's something that you would just want to play as Law. Maybe there's matchups, like if you are playing against Red-Green Law or something like that. I've definitely played this down against Red-Green Law, and based off of the fact that it is top this weekend, it's still going to be something to think about in the metagame to be playing around. And then the Shiki, it's a film 2K. The effect comes up sometimes, but mostly we're just playing it because it's a film 2K, and I like that card more than the other Gordon. These 2 cards, yet again, the reason why I'm at the 16 2K limit is because I'm playing these 2 cards down a lot in the game. This card being able to, if you are at 3 or less Dawn on play, gain 2 Dawn, with the Law leader, you are reaching that limit a lot in this deck. I'm constantly using Law Leader effect, so being at 3 or less Dawn comes up very often, so whenever I get, I'm going to be at 3 or less Dawn, I want to be playing the Saji Penguin. Down to, basically it just makes Law effect for 1 Dawn, which is crazy, and then Buena Vista's your Searcher, so I never want to feel restricted into not being able to play these cards because I don't have enough 2Ks in rotation, and then playing the 16 in total allows me to do that, where I'm playing all these 2Ks down, but I'm still like have a good amount of 2Ks in hand. And then worst case scenario, these cards are 2Ks. So like, if your opponent's going for game and you have these cards in hand to defend, that's even better. All right. So now I play 2 Vista, yet again. You minus a lot in this deck, and then also it is a 3 cost that's playable for free off of Law ability, or also you can play this first and then activate Law's ability as well to get a lot of removal in. I remember this actually won me a game because I was playing against someone and they played 2 like mini blockers on the board, so I went tap 3, play Vista, pop one of the mini blockers, and then I used Law's ability to minus 3 Dawn, so the 3 Dawn that I just used for the Vista, and then it bottom decked the last blocker. So I didn't even play anything, I just used Law's ability to bottom deck the blocker, and then I was able to attach all the leader and swing for game. Super cool comes up. I don't like it more than 2 of because it doesn't like super come up, especially since you have Law's ability, but just being able to like kind of use it to get a sneaky win in the clutch or maybe get board control and stuff like that. It's a nice card. It's a nice 2 of. Next, I'm playing 4 Rush Zoro. I want to have something with utility that uses the 3 Dawn before I use it for Trafalgar Law. Overall, it's the best 3-drop in red, in my opinion. It has utility in any deck that it's going to be played in ever for a very long time to come. It's super aggressive. It gives this deck the ability to be aggressive and use its red tool. Like it feels more like a red deck with this basically in. I wanted something where I can play it for free off of Law's ability and still be able to attack. Overall, it just kind of like it opens up what this deck can do more rather than just being like a control deck that just kind of plays down a body that does nothing until next turn. This kind of gives the deck the threat that you need to kind of push it over the edge, and that's why I'm playing this card at 4. And then the last card I play is I play a single copy of Roundtable. The reason why I play this card is because of Law's ability to be able to bottom deck a 3 power or less. This makes it so that you can bottom deck any card in the game. So if you're playing against yellow, you can bottom deck a Big Mom. If you're playing against black, you can get rid of a really big body in black. If you're playing against blue or queen or something like that, you can bottom deck all the one of the big bodies. I don't like playing this card a lot of because it's not something that you always want to be doing, but it's nice just to have the ability to get rid of something sometimes. It's not searchable, so I don't want to be clogged up with it, and also it comes up, but it doesn't always come up because you're playing a really fast game, so you don't want to be playing for an end game. You want to be playing as fast as possible. Sometimes there's just something that you really need to get rid of, and this is the way to do it. Tap 4, then using the 4 Dawn that you just tapped to activate Law's ability, bottom deck whatever giant threat they have on board, still get a body on board, and then go on with their life. I think it has a lot of really good synergies. Alright, so that is the deck. However, I have some cards here of kind of like consideratives, I guess is the best way to put it, or maybe tech cards. Maybe there's other things that you were like, hey, I don't really like this, or I don't like those ratios. So first up, Gordon. If you want to play Gordon as a 2K instead of Shiki, go right ahead. I just prefer Shiki instead. Next, Miss All Sunday. So instead of the Film Uda that ramps you card, Miss All Sunday, honestly, this is a give or take card. Whether or not you like Film Uda more or Miss All Sunday, I don't really think there's too much of a correct answer. Film Uda's better statted, and then also it's searchable in this deck. However, Miss All Sunday as like card ability is better overall. So it's really going to be player preference. Honestly, I don't think there's a more of a correct answer whether or not to be playing Missile Sunday or play Uda, but I do think that either way, as long as you're playing one of these at 4, or maybe you want to go 2 and 2, I think that's just where the deck slot's going to be, and it's going to be up to you to make that decision. Whitebeard, it is a red deck, so something to always consider is playing Whitebeard. I am playing 4 of the Kid instead over the Whitebeard. I was playing Whitebeard at 1 and then 3 of the Kid for a while. However, because you're always minusing Dawn in this deck, I never got in a situation where I was actually getting to 9 Dawn consistently where I had that card. So I opted in for the 7 cost Kid instead. Maybe you like to play this deck differently, and it comes up where you actually are at the 9 to 10 Dawn all the time, and you want to be playing this card. And if that's the case, go right ahead. I just found myself in situations where I was never actually playing the Edward Newgate, or I feel like I was having to not use a Law Leader so I could set up for the Newgate, and I didn't want to play unoptimally just to wait a turn to play a card that, like, I could have just played something that was almost as good as it anyways, and then still get advantage in the game. So that's why I took it out, but overall this card's still amazing, so I can see why you would want to do it. Next, the promo Luffy as well. It's just a 4/6 statted body that you can play off a Law. If this is something that you like to play the vanillas, and you wanted just a vanilla smackdown with Law, it's definitely consider of. Next is Otama. If you wanted to remove one of your other 2Ks for an Otama, get rid of some of the consistency factor and play more Otamas, that's something that I can definitely see considering. I just really like consistency and I want more film targets. But I can see the want to play Otama. Maybe you're a mad lad and you're just like, I'm going to play 22Ks. But this is definitely a card that comes up and is really good in the deck, but it's kind of hard to find the space for it in the way that the list is made. And then last up, you can play one of Radical Beam. I found that I was always using all of the Dawn every single turn to the most whenever I'm playing this deck, so I never have one up, and whenever I leave one up, it's super, super obvious that I'm just, oh, I found the Radical Beam. But it's still a really good card. It's at 1. If you want to play your one of Radical Beam, that's always like kind of a player option, player decision if they want to be playing the Radical Beam in their list. Even when it was like Red Green Law, some people played it, some people didn't. But yeah, it's just kind of like, what type of player are you? Do you feel like you need the Radical Beam? In this deck, it's not searchable. So because it's not searchable, it's not going to come up as much. So I'm just opting not to be playing around it as much. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you guys liked this video, what you guys think, what you guys would have done instead. Let me know what leader that you guys want to be seeing next. Do you want me to be making more of these 4.5 videos for the rest of the format? Maybe you guys just want to see some more set 5 up the bat. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.